We're talking about phenotyping. We're talking about measuring traits that plants exhibit when they're growing, such as plant height, such as plant morphology or shape, such as various other traits that you might want to measure, which could be how healthy the plant is at any given moment. And breeders and geneticists would like to relate those traits back to genetic markers that they've measured in the lab. For us to be able to do that, we have to have sensors that can make those measurements accurately and quickly in a field environment so that those data can be recorded and studied over a period of time. And the goal here is that in terms of breeding, you can measure many plants with an automated sensing system, potentially even a robotic system that could carry itself through the field and make these measurements. And the breeders, the researchers could study the data that they have and determine which of a particular list of plant lines that they want to pursue in the future. So the advantages that robots have over humans in the field is that they typically can work very quickly. They can carry a lot of equipment with them. They're less sensitive to problems with getting hot and exhausted in the field. So you could potentially you could also have a very large robotic system that could measure multiple rows in the field at a given time and make numerous measurements. So if you had a large set of plots, let's just take cotton for example, you wanted to measure the phenotypic traits of a large number of cotton plants in plots in a field, you could have a robotic system like some sort of highboy tractor that would be carrying a lot of sensors and driving itself through the field and making measurements on hundreds or even thousands of plants at a time. And it could get to the end of the row, and then it could use GPS signal to navigate itself to the next plot, potentially turn back around, and it could work every day. Depending on what kind of measurements you're making, you could potentially even make measurements in the nighttime when it would be very difficult to have a person out there working at night. You could have it running whenever you wanted it to. The level of accuracy in phenotypic measurements, obviously you want it to be very high. So let's take the measurement of plant height, for example. We know, based on past research, that we can use ultrasonic sensors to measure plant height with a high level of accuracy. Now, part of the problem that you have in measuring plant height is it depends on where the measurement is taken. You want to take it at the highest point on the plant if possible, and so you have to have the ability to line up your sensor with the highest point of the plant. But if you're able to do that well, you should be down in the single 1 or 2 millimeter range of accuracy in terms of plant height, which is very good. Some of the other measurements that we might make would be, let's say, multispectral reflectance measurements, and what that means is that you're measuring how a plant reflects light in certain parts of the spectrum. Those measurements are extremely accurate. It depends on the kind of system that you're using, but they're certainly very accurate as well. We can also collect images and use image analysis to determine things about the plant's, for example, shape. If our images are reasonably high quality, then we can make those measurements very accurately as well.